I'm Jeff Cook.
And I'm TJ Wilson.
And this is Around the Circle.
I'm walking slowly. I'm taking my time. All I could talking is starting to rhyme. I'm letting go of lonely, letting go of strife. I just can't get enough of this beautiful life.
The Enneagram is a map of the human personality. It's a tool for navigating relationships. It creates language for what motivates us and helps us look at the way we look at everything else. Most importantly, the Enneagram's a mirror because sometimes you need help seeing yourself. My name's Jeff Cook. I'm a longtime professor of philosophy in Greeley, Colorado, and with me is TJ Wilson, coffee guru, lover of theology, and Enneagram ninja.
Hello.
Boss.
Hey.
Have I ever told you about my favorite movie trailer?
I'm sure you have, but please remind me.
My favorite movie trailer. I got goosebumps. I probably peed myself a little bit. I'm in the theater, and the movie trailer for the first Suicide Squad came up. Mm-hmm. It had the Bohemian Rhapsody as the background, and I got done watching this, and I was like, this movie is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dear listener, the movie was not amazing, but the trailer is incredible and well worth watching over and over again on a loop. Do you have a favorite trailer?
See, funnily enough, mine is also for a phenomenal movie trailer that excited the heart of the child within me. And man, weren't we all so excited for the movie Where the Wild Things Are? Because that trailer was unbelievable. And the movie was fine.
We have a mutual friend who's a Enneagram 7 who has a back tattoo of all the monsters going across his back.
Yep.
Lead him on an adventure.
Yep. Sounds perfect.
Hey, today we need to do a trailer.
Is this going to be a really good trailer for something that's mediocre at best?
That's right. We have set in motion a bad precedent here. No, our event is going to be incredible, and we're going to give a trailer for it. You and I have a June event in Colorado that we're calling Tacos, Toyotas, and the Art of Happiness. And that is sticky, but doesn't say anything about what we're doing. So,
yep, it's true. Should we have tacos?
We should definitely have tacos.
I'm down.
That's lunch tacos. Here's the thing about tacos. Whenever talking about whether we're doing okay financially, me and my wife, we bring up the idea of tacos. Is can we go out and get tacos when we want to? If the answer is yes, then we're doing okay.
Okay.
If we can't go out and get tacos,
totally reasonable.
No bueno.
I'm going to plant this flag right now. Let's try and make this the thing. Instead of people considering whether or not they can spend their money on their coffee, let's make it tacos.
This is true.
It's just a cup of coffee a month.
Not paying for coffee is like not paying for your electric bill. This is not an option. It's complete foolishness.
Tacos.
Tacos, though. Yeah. I get this from my friend Josh Packard, who said that's really his biggest desire is just to be able to go out with his wife for lunch whenever he wants. If he is able to do that, then he feels good financially. I just internalized that. I thought that was a great little image because it is a luxury, obviously. But if you're able to purchase little luxuries, that means that financially you're probably doing okay.
Yeah. Or just really irresponsible.
Finances and desperation, irresponsibility, feeling uneasy, these go together. And we need to talk about tacos. Okay. I read a report. Over 40% of Americans report having cried over money.
Yeah. That sounds low, though.
It does sound low.
Yeah. I feel like at least most of the 60% are people who don't ever cry.
53% say thinking about finances negatively affects their mental health.
Yep. And
as is well known, money fights are the top predictor of divorce.
Yeah.
I bring this up.
Someone said something about money once, like it's the root of all evil.
Idea being, how do you wrestle with the necessary evils we all have to wrestle with? Mm-hmm. This is what tacos are about. Yeah. It's all of us come up against problems, and we have to solve problems. And lo and behold, Enneagram has tons to say about how our type solves problems. TJ and I talk about this all the time. The quick skinny is that some of us, when solving problems, actually shut down part of ourselves. And it's predictable based on your type.
Yeah, there is a group that they set aside their emotions to solve the problem in the most efficient way. And then you have another group that the problem is inherently about the relationship, and we need to address that first. And then there's another group, they set the action part aside. There's this optimistic, feel-goodery. Let's not focus on the hard parts of the problem. Let's do something else.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say how we solve problems is vastly more important than the problem itself.
Yeah.
Problems hit our feelings. They obviously affect our lives, but the ability to solve problems, especially in relationships, vastly more important than often what we end up facing that's out there.
Yeah. And I also think this gives us a really good window into reality about solving problems. Like if we are not aware that this is our natural, instinctual problem-solving method, like me as a 9, I pretend like the problems don't exist and I go to sleep. Like I do not want to deal with problems, so I just wait till they go away. If I don't know that about myself, then I'm going to be spinning my wheels. Like the amount of stuff that I have let fall away in my life because I was unaware of this problem-solving method is staggering. It's huge. And especially thinking about something as complex as money, understanding first that you solve problems in a certain way is going to help you overcome some of the hurdles that you've been facing your whole life about how to address something as complex as money.
Money is a window into how we solve problems. It exposes it very, very fast.
Yep.
And it's well worth talking about. Do we positive spin our money problems? Do we hunker down and really think through what we need to do right now in terms of solving money problems? Or do we get real emotional about our money problems?
Yeah.
Look around, see who's on our team and feels the way we do.
Mm-hmm.
So it exposes it quick. Yeah. Tacos are very important because we really want tacos.
Yeah.
How do we solve the huge obstacles at hand? That's going to be well worth discussing and part of our June event.
And especially in consideration of the fact that we're often solving problems with another person, and there's a very good chance that that person is solving them in a different way than us.
Correct. So this is a fantastic footnote. We aren't just going to talk about how each of us solve the problems. We're going to talk about how the people in our lives also solve problems, because when it is different, there's a chemistry that takes place that needs to be named.
Yep.
Because these solving problem skills and aptitudes and what would you call that? the part of our type that emerges. This is when we're moving into those stressful situations. And so naming what happens when you're kind of moving into those more stressful spaces, incredibly important.
Yeah.
Second thing we're talking about is Toyotas. You and I have talked about this in the past. It's very valuable in my mind to talk about the intimate yet sometimes frustrating relationship that you and I have with our motor vehicle. What does it look like? Can you name your relationship with your car? Because sometimes, inevitably, unfortunately, you have to break up with your car.
Yeah, that's true.
You connect with your car at the first. It's all kisses. You're super excited that you got the butterflies in your tummy. New car.
Yay.
But
and
it
then
can't
eventually,
last.
someday, you throw a rod and have to leave it on the side of the highway.
It's one of those things that's just true about us. We connect with our cars in a very relational way. I know that I'm thinking about getting a new car. When I'm watching football games and I actually pay attention to the commercials, the car commercials. Like I never pay attention to car commercials unless it's the case that I'm super frustrated with my present form of transportation.
You might even say that there is an Enneagram way to understand how we relate to our cars, how we relate to the other things in our life, how we relate to the other people in our life. relationship triad, if you will, how things affect us and how we affect other things.
You could say that. The thing that our relationship with our car exposes is how we have relationships with other people. Mm-hmm. Because given our type, it is almost word for word the same. The way I connect to my car and why I connect to my car is really similar to why I connect to my job, why I connect to my lover, why I connect to my friends. It's actually really, really similar.
Yeah.
We could talk shop about all these things, but yeah, what's the lowdown here?
If you didn't get the hint, this touches on the affect groups for us, but it's how we relate to the world and what things tie us to objects and people and ideas. And there is a sense of wanting to connect, wanting to have a practical connection, but expecting for there to be some amount of rejection or problem within the relationship. And this is 2s, 5s, and 8s that are we call these the relationists, and it's as though they are offering something to the world to try and see if the world will accept it. And so these types want some kind of practicality from their vehicle, expecting that the vehicle will only serve a certain purpose until it can't anymore. Mm-hmm. Like there is a certain expectation of disconnect eventually, and the other aspects of the vehicle is unimportant because there is the one thing that they are sort of looking for in the vehicle, and that's what they're holding out for. So 2s who want connection, want to be helpful, want to be of service, they choose vehicles that are going to help them serve other people. Any 2 who's not a parent who owns a minivan, or anyone who's not a parent who owns a minivan is either a musician or a 2. Like they want to be able to provide rides to their friends because that's part of being of service, you know. 5s, there's a level of practicality that is tied to their connection to their vehicle. And that could range from, I know a 5 who has no interest in what his car is like, just so long as it is able to get him from here to there. That is the only thing that's important, and it doesn't matter what it looks like. He never shares it with other people. He never has other people in his car. The thing that it is for is the very important resource of getting him from here to there.
Safe and cheap.
Yep. And then you have 8s who are interested in some sort of, I don't want to say dominance, but the vulnerability in protecting themselves and the people they care about. But
not picking the Yugo.
No, definitely not picking the Yugo.
Not picking the vehicle that is easy for a monster truck to run over.
Oh, absolutely not.
The vehicle that is chosen. Mm-hmm. A lot of my friends pick things with heft.
Sure. Yep. Because it's going to keep them safe on the road, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Relationists, there's something about the vehicle fulfilling the function that they need most. Functional in mind. Well, the idealists. These are 1s, 4s, and 7s. I need to get some jobs done, and I want to feel comfortable, body type that I am, in my car, and I'm very aware if something breaks.
Sure.
If something consistently breaks, that's when my frustration comes up. And frustration is going to characterize the idealists.
Yeah. Well, and I even would say that not necessarily something breaks, but consistently something is not working the way you need it to.
Yeah.
So you have a perfectly good vehicle that you can't always fit all of the stuff you need to in the back because you're doing jobs. Mm-hmm. That vehicle is not a perfectly good vehicle anymore.
It's true.
And now you're looking on the other side for the greener grass.
Getting jobs done isn't the priority of the 4, though. 4s,
correct,
when frustrated with their vehicles, that comes out in a different way, yeah?
I think that 4s, when they are frustrated with their vehicles, may do nothing about it.
Right.
Because it's their vehicle. There's a particularness and a connection to that vehicle that is, this is their car. And, you know, maybe it can't go on the highway anymore, but it's still theirs. And there's still something about, because there's a history with this car. They remember the first time they made out with someone in this car and all of the things that go along with having an emotional, sentimental connection to your vehicle. Like, yeah, it's a crap box that nobody really would ever want to step inside, but it's yours. And like, there's something about it that is special because it's yours.
I'll tell you where the Ford gets frustrated. They bought that 1981 Porsche. It's just a little boxy. It scoots around.
Sure. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But then Porsche decided to reissue a 1981 style Porsche.
How
and
dare they?
everybody else started buying them. And
now everyone has one, except that you had it before it was cool.
there's something about the frustration of looking at the fact that everybody else has your same car. This isn't good. I know two people who have a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
Both of them 7s. There's something about
Oh,
the
man, they're zippy.
low weight. Don't have to carry a lot.
Yeah.
We're going places though. The Mini Cooper is zippy. I can get moving.
If the thing that you need to get to your adventure is gear, like the car top tent campers,
Sure. Yep.
like the small ones that you can literally just put on top of your car and leave there, would almost guaranteed that was developed by a 7. Like, because you can literally just like Tuesday afternoon, it's like, I'm going to take tomorrow off and I'm going to go camping and just go. Like there is a freedom involved in that type of purchase.
Exactly right. Had a buddy whose dad was a 7 growing up. He had a pickup truck that he purchased for the exclusive reason of holding a camper on the back.
Yep.
And I suppose my own stepfather bought a Dodge Ram on the flip side from the Mini Cooper so that he could tug a fifth wheel.
Sure.
It was this enormous hotel that he pulled behind his Dodge.
Yep.
Same motive.
Yep.
If you're unable to pull the fifth wheel anymore, if you're for some reason your camper doesn't fit anymore in the back of that pickup,
or one little thing happens and you're like, I'm gonna upgrade to a full-size RV.
the frustration of not being able to do what's on your mind for the 7.
Pass.
You
Not
can see
gonna
how this
deal with
works.
the problems. Nope. Skip that.
Lastly are the pragmatists, which are 3, 6s, and 9s, and they are, again, selecting vehicles, attaching to vehicles for a different kind of reason.
Yep. There is a practicality involved in the like what works and what doesn't, and what gives me the thing that I was looking for.
You probably don't care when stuffing began to spill out from one of the seats.
This has
If it were
literally been a problem in every vehicle that I've owned long term.
Right, there it is. Is eventually the seats kind of get a hole in them, and
It is not important until the spring starts poking me in the butt.
but not important until
Yep.
the comfort.
Yep.
Once the comfort is upset, then
Just
it's like,
used to it.
man, got to get a new car.
No, I gotta get. I'm gonna put a towel down over the seat until I can get a seat cover. Put a seat cover.
9s are not the wear out sort; they're the rust out sort.
Oh yeah. Within the same idea, but for totally different reasons. You have 3s. Cars are part of their image, so the car needs to be nice. It needs to be clean. It needs to be not necessarily identical to everyone else's, but it needs to be close enough that you don't stand out too much, but you need to stand out a little bit. Like a little. It needs to be nice enough that people might notice it and say, hey, that's a nice car when you get out of it. Because it's an image symbol. Like you attach to things that work.
Yep. Yeah. We bought an SUV when we were young parents. Because avoiding the minivan.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to have the minivan.
But all of a sudden, you show up in Driveline picking up your kids, and everybody's got the same looking SUV.
Yep. Now you need to get something else.
My wife switched over to a Subaru.
Yeah. That status symbol can also be something that is unique enough to be cool. Like,
I suppose we haven't mentioned the 6 is perhaps the easiest to see here. When the car is not safe anymore, We're getting rid of that car.
Safe, reliable, and consistent. It needs to be predictable.
Loyal car.
I have no problems with cars that have problems because that's my whole life. If you need to jumpstart the battery every once in a while, it's not a big deal because it's not all the time, and we'll eventually get it fixed. We bought a little jumper, so it's super easy to do that. If my wife, the 6, was driving that car every day and had to jump the car more than twice in a week, absolutely not. Like that would become something that would become a fight with us because that is not predictable, or like it's not stable. She can't rely on that.
Not trustworthy, that car.
Yeah.
You will notice as we're talking through these things that this is not just true, again, of our relationship to cars, but it's true of our relationships to our jobs, to our lovers, to our friends, etc. Oftentimes what we value most in our surroundings, in our relationships, and in our purchases is real similar to what we need from the people in our lives.
Yeah.
Whether it be we need them to be dependable, we need them to be adventurous, we need them to also create spheres of harmony in the rest. And we detach, we get frustrated, we expect this to go badly when they don't.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about relationships in that light. And guess what we're going to do in June? Tej?
Is it talk about relationships in that light?
We're going to talk about relationships in that light.
Excellent.
Problem solving, how we're connecting. These are vital. The happy life, it seems to me, is wrapped up in things like this. Dare we say the art of happiness really requires relationships, and naming that matters. We're going to close with just the idea of happiness itself. Do we even know what happiness is? What makes a person truly happy? I bet it's the case that you could point to a large number of people who are wealthy, attractive, educated, successful people who are legitimately miserable human beings. We all can do this. And so apparently being wealthy, attractive, educated, successful does not make one happy. So what is it that makes people happy, and how do you know? A large part of our conference as we close is going to be talking about your type and how your type experiences happiness and what it looks like for you to be happy in your type, and just elevating some of the language around that. This is actually what I'm most excited about because, dear listener, the last of the books that we have on our minds is going to be focused on the Enneagram and happiness. And so this is going to be our first diving into this topic.
Yeah.
Anything to say on that end? I was trying to, I'm driving somewhere.
I'm really fascinated by the idea of happiness because happiness doesn't mean anything because it means everything, and it is not something you can easily pin down. Especially when you understand the Enneagram, you can see that like not only is happiness different for all of us, but what we think about happiness is different for all of us.
Yep.
Most of us are trying to be happy, and how we go about it matters because it's very possible that we're going about happiness the wrong way because we think happiness is this thing, but our type actually wants this thing.
Yep. Talking about how we assess happiness, and we're going to talk about things like virtue, holy ideas, and the bigger idea of fulfillment. So that's where we're going in June. This is going to be a 2-day event. We're going to have a Friday night and a all-day Saturday. Do you know we're going to have a wine tasting on Friday night, TJ?
This is news to me.
Katie Whitlock is coming out.
Oh, wait, no, it's not
on our
news
recently,
to me. I just forgot.
recent guest. I'm gonna butcher the word. Sommelier,
Sommelier. Or Som. You could just say Som.
Trained up. Gonna do a wine tasting for us on Friday night.
Love it.
Gonna have tacos for lunch on Saturday. I bet we can arrange that. And altogether, I'm expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 80 folks. So this should feel a little bit more intimate. So this is in Colorado. We're an hour north of Denver. The links for this are in the show notes. And here's the thing. Between now and the end of April, so if you're hearing this before May, Our tickets for this are half price. They're just $60 right now. Take a look. We would love to have you. And again, this is going to be this. TJ and I don't do events very often, but when we do, we put a lot of our heart and best material into them because it's going to be the stuff that we really build on and want to internalize for the next couple of years. And so this is going to be special.
Yep.
Last word?
I'm trying to figure out how to make a joke about giving away a car. So I get.
Is there decent coffee in Greeley?
There is decent coffee. There's actually decent coffee really close to the event venue. So
yeah, in the event venue, in fact.
Oh yeah, it's in the same build. It's our building.
Oh,
where my coffee shop is.
Fringe benefit is that you may get to have a latte made by the one and only TJ Wilson.
Yeah.
Or he might tell one of his employees to do it for you. It's probably more likely he's going to be in the back drinking a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
That is highly likely.
At some point, though, if you really persist, I bet you can get a special drink. Well, June 27th and 28th, I suppose it's the case. The next day, June 29th, Sunday, is actually our regular Sunday Enneagram morning. So if you really wanted to stick around Sunday as well, we're going to have a time where we just have our Enneagram discussion group, which meets once a month. You can kind of see what we do if you are from out of town or just want to stick around for the weekend. So lots of good stuff there. And I think that's what I got. You got anything else?
I got nothing, man.
He's TJ Wilson. He's officially going to be in Greeley, Colorado, giving a fantastic conference on June 27th and 28th. Sign up. I'm Jeff Cook. Would be thrilled to meet you, talk to you, and remind you that who you aren't just isn't interesting.